Welcome back, nerds. Fino here with the Servant Guide for Assassin of Shinjuku. As an elegant solution for the spoiler problem, I've opted to give him an equally elegant nickname, Mr. Fister. This guy's a 4-star quick assassin with a fairly unusual kit. As always, the names are subject to change. Skill 1 is Zhongguo Quan Fa. 100% sure I butchered that. As you can tell by his appearance and this name, Mr. Fister is clearly Welsh. But yeah, you have clutch star absorption and NP gain. As an assassin, star absorb isn't a pressing issue for Mr. Fister, but you'll see a theme with this guy. A fine degree of control over your stars. Next up, we have Espionage / Doppelganger. The on-release version is a boring star gen buff, but it gets a nice upgrade, turning it into a 3-piece with quick and crit strength added on. Being a 3-turn buff with a 5-turn cooldown, it's got high uptime. Pretty good post-upgrade. Skill 3 is Skillful Star. This gives 20 stars at max rank and tanks his star absorption for 1 turn. By far his most interesting ability, Skillful Star opens up a niche for Mr. Fister as a star-generating offensive support for Berserker and Avenger teams. As I talked about in the MHX Alter guide, this mechanic is a bit hamstrung, but we'll get back to this a bit later. Mr. Fister's noble phantasm is… holy shit. Ximian Mai Fu Wu Ying Zhuo Wei. Man, you really want me to butcher these names. It's a single target NP that reduces crit damage on overcharge. That's alright. Enemies Napic of Remnant tend to crit quite a bit, so it's never a bad thing. The more interesting property is its 11 hits. As a quick NP, this means it generates a shitload of stars. So taking all this into account, Mr. Fister is all about generating stars and then distributing them. His triple Q deck and lackluster meter generation make him ill-suited to be a primary attacker, at least without intervention from Scotty, so I won't be exploring that path very much. Behind door number 1, we have a double Avenger setup. Avengers and Berserkers have atrocious star absorption. Any competition means they get screwed over. This diminishes the value of 20/30 / support caster combos, since they suck up all the stars they generate. From this class, let's exclude Jalter because she wants those support buffs very badly, and Salieri because he does very bad things to your team's manual star gen. This leaves Dantes, Gorgon, Clifford, and Angry Man. Gorgon is kind of a clumsy fit, though she'll appreciate uncontested stars. Angramanyu is terrible, but he appreciates a good quick team. Dantes and Clifford are the best options here, since they're both hybrids with quick NPs. Clifford can manipulate stars and give you that extra bit of control. Dantes, on the other hand, puts them to good use with his golden rule. This is a very aggressive team, and if anything goes wrong, you'll have no frontline whatsoever. Dantes and Mr. Fister have skills that give upfront stars, so you can crit up a storm from turn 1, which is handy because it gives you momentum for early NPs and a steady supply of stars. Before you get too excited, I have to talk about the 50-20-20 mechanic. 3 cards in any given hand are given those weights, and here's the kicker. Your servant star weights are added to those, not multiplied. So even if you pop Skillful Star and reduce Mr. Fister's absorption to 0, there's a chance he'll take all the stars anyway. In other words, game mechanics suck. Ruffian, meet Criminal Princess. Mr. Fister is the sort of character you run in degenerate assassin comps, and Osakabe Hime is a classic degenerate. She really wants to spam her NP, but in most teams that's a fairly cumbersome affair. Here you can actually brawl without too much downside and create yourself some meter. Her charge skill also increases star gen, which Mr. Fister really appreciates. She's got a buff purge, which can clear the way for Shining Finger. That's pretty handy. And her NP gives survivability, which is great since he has no defensive skills. It's a match made in heaven. You can even run Hans with this kind of team and get away with it. His suite of buffs, star gen, and arts cards complement this setup well. The only downside is that Mr. Fister becomes your primary damage dealer, which isn't ideal. This one's pretty fucking special. Not my idea, by the way. App Media recommended this particular pair. I said Mr. Fister is good for degenerate assassin teams, but I would never in a million years have considered pairing him with Jekyll and fucking Hyde. He's an assassin who desperately wants stars but has atrocious absorption, because he turns into a berserker. It's as brilliant a combo as it is a stupid one. Really, the only question is who you'd run as a third. Because of Jekyll's overcharge effect, Edison is kind of a tempting pick, but the catch is he'll steal all your stars as payment. So if you run Edison, you need to swap him out with a plug suit or kill him with Good Poster Girl. Alternatively, you can run a rapidly charging servant to get their overcharge bonus. Jack the Ripper is ideal on account of her star gen, but you can run other assassins or even MHX Alter for more star control. Fun as it is, this team is very impractical because Hyde himself is a very unreliable servant. Good for a laugh though. For craft essences, I'd recommend 20/30 in any team where he's the only star generator. Golden Catches the Carp is good when you need value straight away, Imaginary Around fits with his 3Q deck, Moonlight Fest has a star gen / crit damage combo, and Castle of the Sun gives crit damage, star gen, and starting NP. That one's coming in good too. Aggressive builds can take advantage of Decapitating Bunny, since Mr. Fister doesn't have a good solution for evasion or invuln. For new players, Freelancer is a valid option since it gives a large crit buff, but only to quick cards. I'm gonna be frank. Mr. Fister is a pain in the ass to use without a proportional upside. He's a janky secondary attacker and his supportive ability is hamstrung by game mechanics. In other words, he's a servant for people without better options. He's got a 4-star stat line and he's more useful out of the box than Steno, but even new players are going to take issue with him on account of his skill materials. Good luck getting cerebrospinal fluid. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend this guy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, by all means like, subscribe, and tell a friend. I stream on Twitch every weekend, so come and hang out sometime. All links below. Till next time.